there, my name is Sheila Beck, and this is the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So I said to myself, Svi, you're behind on a lot of things. I am very behind on a lot of things. You gotta make just one video there. Don't do two, don't do three, just one, and then you got a lot of stuff to get on with. So that was the plan waking up. So now, as it stands, somebody sent me this incredible article from like 7 hours ago. Oh, I should have looked up the name. I'll look up the name when I do the video, and I have to do an article about this. I have to have a video about this. I've got to do a video about it I'm going to do now, because it's been ruminating in my head. This is like that we need to talk about. And then I forgot, I'm recording a Star Trek podcast tonight at 5, and then I'm on another one at 9. So I went from my day of having one video, then focusing on other stuff, to I've basically been sucked into a YouTube day. Hopefully I'll get some of the other stuff done. Fine. Before we get into the story, can I ask you guys, can you hit the subscribe button? Can you hit the like button? Can you hit that share button? All those things are fan-dabby double dosing, but definitely hit the subscribe button. My subscribers, they were doing really well. Everyone's going up and up and up, and it just slowed down. And I'm telling you, I'm very thin-skinned. I would say I'm a little bit pathetic. I am definitely putting my happiness on outside things outside my control, which is always a bad idea, but that's what I'm doing. So anyway, if you guys can hit the subscribe button, that'd be really, really nice. Thank you very much. Of course, if you do subscribe, you can enter my weekly competitions. Now, the prize for this one is being given away tonight. I'm going to be in the TARDIS zone. We're doing a watch-along of Fear Her. Okay, you know what? I'm going into an open mind. Fear Her is a 2006 David Tennant Doctor Who episode. It's not my favourite. Anyway, but we're announcing the prize winner tonight for this thing, Just Dredd the Pit. It's a pretty good Just Dredd, trade paperback graphic novel. It's got all the normal Just Dreddy, shooty, bikey, violent sci-fi stuff, which we all love. But it's also got, like, gets into the lies, what it is to be a judge, which is really interesting. I really do like this book. And we're announcing a new prize tonight. New prize is going to be a popular one. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but the new prize is almost certainly going to be a popular one. Fine, let's talk about this the story. The thing that's been ruminating in my head says, I'm a rabbi, as I say very, very frequently, I say. And so from Friday nights from about 5 o'clock, about 7 o'clock onwards, about 7 o'clock onwards for 25 hours offline, right? And this week was awesome. I had such an incredible rest. I really recommend it. But it's really, any day of the week you want, but take a week offline, it's really, a day offline, it's really good. Anyway, yeah, so, but it gives you time to think. I'll catch up my reading, I like ruminate things. And I remember seeing 2 articles in 2, I would say, not very reputable news sources, but they might have their finger on the button, and I think it describes a wider story, which I hope is true. I really hope it's true. I think it's going to give us, hopefully it will give us all a little bit of hope here in the Fandom Menace that, some of the things we've been very upset about may actually become real. People say, look, this pandemic thing is going to, upturn a lot of apple carts, and, a lot of things a lot of things that aren't so popular are going to come to an end. I'm thinking of things like Star Trek, the current iterations of Star Trek, Doctor Who, Star Wars, comic books. Well, DC Comics has imploded, right? I think Marvel's circling the drain as well, from what I heard as well. Listen, I don't see how Marvel Comics could allow DC Comics new publication model, right? To go forward without adopting it, because it's going to make a lot more money and have a lot less loss. So I did, just in terms of like corporate finance, I don't think you can allow yourself to have an inferior business model. So I talk mainly about Doctor Who. I do like Doctor Who a lot. I do obsess about Doctor Who a lot. So this is why this got my attention. So the first thing, I was directed to this by another YouTuber who I only just started listening to, and I can't remember his name. If I get to it, I'm gonna look up the guy's name and his channel, and I'm gonna put it in a little flashy thing here. If not, I'm just gonna cut this bit out. So either way, we'll find out soon what I'm gonna do. Fine. So let's look at this first article. It's from The Sun. Now, as I said, The Sun, not a particularly reputable news source. It's, I would say, the number one, probably the number one paper newspaper read by the working classes, right? I think it's basically the Sun and the Mirror. I think the Sun probably has, again, these are guesstimations, and I might be completely wrong. I would think the Sun has anything between 60 and 80% of the market share, within that demographic, right? Which is, traditionally quite right wing. I was talking about the socialism on another video last week. Somebody gave me this great comment, and I really should have looked it up as well. This great comment, because there's a quote from Alan Moore, who's very, very I would say genius writer, and I don't use that. Yeah, that word is you banded around a lot. I don't use it quite so easily. But I do. I think. I actually think he's like, from a religious terminology. Even though obviously he's not religious, he would be called a prophet. I think he's very tapped into a lot of basic truths and hidden truths. So there was a quote from him, I think, from Hell, which is one of his great works about Jack the Ripper, talking about the working classes don't want socialism, right? Yeah, because I remember it was you have this posh guy and a working class guy walking on a beach together. Yes, I think it was in the beginning or the end of From Hell, and the posh guy is like, oh yeah, we got to bring socialism for the working class, blah. And the working class guy said, look, working classes don't want socialism. The working classes want more bloody money. So I think this is the newspaper who it's for. I think traditionally the working classes definitely are more right wing than not. They're very more traditional right wing. Used to be a show called In Sickness and in Health, which in America got remade into Archie Bunker. Was it All in the Family? It's about a very working class guy who's very right wing, And he said who was the guy? The main character was Alf Garnett. I can't remember the name of the actor who played him, but I saw him being interviewed, and he said, "Yeah, I based him on my grandfather. I based the character on my grandfather." He says, I once borrowed a pair of boots to walk 5 miles, or maybe 10 miles. It's like, if 5 miles is not for me, fat slob that I am, 5 miles is big. Maybe 15 miles so I could vote Tory, and that's a very prevalent working class idea. And honestly, if I had my magic wand on who could control the destiny of the country, 100%, I would weight it in the working class's favors, because they're the people who basically they make up most of the country, I think one of the great things is Babylon 5. You ever seen Babylon 5? Babylon 5, when they ended the Centauri, Centauri, the guys with the bones on the head. What are their name again? Not the Narns, not the Centauri. We went to war. It'll come back to me later. But they had this council where they had 3 people from the religious class, 3 people from the warrior class, and 3 people from the workers class, right? And then when they redesigned the government, they had 2 from the religious, 2 from warrior, and 5 from the working class. And I think that's about right. I think that's about right. I think can you imagine what a great society we'll be in? I think we'll be in a very affluent society, if that was the case. So anyway, that's who the Sun caters for, right? So even if this story isn't true, which it might not be, it might just be a think piece, it might be speculation, there might be no basis. I think this is something that a lot of the country, I would say probably the majority of the country, would like to see true. I think this is crowd pleasing. So if it's not true, it's about to be true. I think it's very true, possibly about to be true. So let's read this one. No crime. No crime. Dodging TV license fee could be criminalised next month, with ministers set to axe jail threat in wake of the BBC Proms fury. So a lot to unpack there if you're not English, right? If you're not English, you're like, what does any of that mean? So the BBC is funded by a license fee, which you pay. I think it's like £175 a year. Every household that has a TV has to pay that, and that goes into funding the BBC. So they started a thing where you can opt out of that if you don't use BBC services, which more and more people are choosing not to, because they're crap. Okay, but that's really what we're going to be getting into. If you want to opt out, you don't have to pay your license fee anymore. But still, there's still if you do it without filling out the forms, you will get they threaten jail time, but you will also get a fine. So they're talking about decriminalizing that. So decriminalizing that means there is no incentive to pay whatsoever your license fee. I mean, I think people are basically like to be honest, but I think once somebody has been in power for a while and they've abused the people they've been in power to, and it doesn't have, I'm not talking about a third world dictatorship government. I'm talking about, remember the music industry, right? I'm going to teach you a Jewish word, chaza. Chaza means a pig. It means they will eat and eat and eat and eat whatever they can. They were chazas, right? The music industry would charge $20, $30 for a CD, and it was an outrageous cost. Then all of a sudden, BitTorrent came along. Yeah, what was that? Napster. Napster was the first one. Was it? Napster came along, and people were like, "Yeah, forget it. We're not paying anymore. Forget it." And that's basically how it was until Apple developed a new business model of like $1 for a track, $10 for an album. Yeah, and it slashed the income of the music industry overnight. The music industry basically imploded overnight. So the lesson you can learn from that is, once you don't have anything to hold over somebody's head and you've been crappy to them for years, they're going to take a lot of pleasure in not being under your thumb anymore, which is essentially what I think is going to happen. And it's not just the BBC. I think this is just the starter. Fine, let's read a bit. Okay, so there's been a real uproar in England right now. Because we got this classical concert series, which is very traditional. We've been going on for years, like hundreds of years. I don't know how long. Just long time. And it ends up with the last night at the Proms. It ends up with a very rousing and patriotic, God Save the Queen, Land of Hope and Glory, what's the other one? With a waving Union Jacks, and it's wonderful. So this year, the people who hate England, the people who absolutely hate England, which are not the Sun Readers. Sun Readers freaking love England, right? The people who hate England, and the legacy of England, they want to use this opportunity because of the pandemic. You can't be live, but they're going to say, no, we're not going to have these problematic lyrics, especially with the race riots going on. We can't support colonialism. To which I think the entirety of England is this was the last straw. This was the last straw. This was the last straw. The BBC has pissed a lot of people off. So we're going to read some of this article which talks about this. Dodging paying your TV license could be decriminalised next month in the wake of the BBC Proms row. And I really think it could. Boris Johnson, Prime Minister of England, ordered a review of... he keeps being portrayed as like this pure evil in from left wing. He's like an amiable buffoon. That's basically how it... I wouldn't mind hanging out with Boris Johnson. He sounds kind of fun to me. Also, I really wouldn't mind hanging out with Trump. I think that just sounds like a fun evening of a fun and very weird evening, but probably pretty good food. Either way, it's probably going to be a very pleasant evening hanging out with those. Sanctions has ordered a review of sanctions for Boris Johnson ordered a review of sanctions for non-payment of the controversial charge last year, with a final decision due in December this month. Fine. BBC announced in July it will be ploughing ahead with a plan to end free license fee for the over 75. Yeah, so that was the first thing not the first thing. That was one of the major things they did to piss a lot of people off. If you were over 75, you didn't have a license fee. No problem. You've earned it. It's part of your retirement. BBC are like, wait, what? And it's worth noting, I think in the last year they lost $300 million, more than 300 million pounds, not dollars, 300 million pounds over people deciding not to pay the license fee. That's about 1.75 million. That number's about to get a lot more, right? Because people were just disgusted with the BBC after 2 months delay because of the pandemic. Really? Oh, that's so nice of you. Waited 2 months. It also comes after the B blasted. It was blasted for choosing to remove the lyrics of "Land of Hope and Glory" and "Rule Britannia" from the last night of the Proms. Yeah, people are just pissed off about it. And you know what? I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why people are pissed off. Because England's freaking brilliant. If you're English, you should be proud of yourself. England is not a racist country. I'm sorry, it's not a racist country. And every time it's mattered, England, the English nation have stood up against every evil race that I can think. That every time it raises its head. World War II was not forgotten by me, the Jew. Okay, it's not to say England has a stain-free past. Nobody does. Most people don't have a stain-free present, let alone stain-free past. But every time that real evil has reared its head, whether it be in Cable Street in the 1930s when the fascists wanted to march through the East End, the British people fought them back. They stand up and they fought them back. They stood up in World War II, and they stood up last year in in December. In December we had a general election, and the left-wing party, Labour, had completely abandoned its working class group, completely abandoned them, and just gone head forward into anti-Semitism. They was like dripping with anti-Semitism and socialism, which the two things are weirdly very, very connected. And once again, British people weren't having any of it, and they delivered these racists, these scum. They delivered them the worst defeat they've received in over 100 years, I believe, and quite rightly too. So Britain is freaking brilliant. Britain is wonderful, and it's one that you go to London. It's a wonderfully multicultural city. England is listen. I understand when people of different nationalities and ethnicities, different skin colours, started to arrive in England in the 50s, 60s, 70s. The English were a little bit, whoa, that's a bit different. And when people meet something different, they kind of giggle and they get scared. Like, ah! But honestly, by the 80s, that was over. And I'm from the 80s. And so we're looking at, 40, 50 years of that kind of racism being over. If you act bigoted towards somebody over their skin color, gender, sexuality, anywhere in England now, if you will be looked at like a piece of filth. It's completely socially unacceptable by virtually everyone. I think probably 98% of the country. So, England's freaking brilliant. And I think if any nation has earned the right to praise themselves and has sing rousing patriotic songs, land of hope and glory, England is a freaking land of hope and glory. That's just the truth of the matter. England is a land of hope and glory. Rule Britannia. Okay, they weren't the cleanest people in the world, but they weren't so bad compared to most of us, the rest of the world. It's again. You just walk out. You go into London. You go into any town in England. You will see just this incredible diversity, right? So I think that's probably why the British have been getting a little bit pissed off, because they've been told they're not very diverse. They're not diverse enough by these awful liberals that live in this tiny bubble called Twitter, and they think it's real. So Whitehall sources say, let's go in. It also comes after the Whitehall sources says the combination of the Proms debacle and the row over billing the over 75s for licenses has shown there is a need to reform the broadcaster. Daily Mail says that's the next article. Fine, let's just go for the Daily Mail, which I think shows why BBC is about to have their ass handed to them, right? Why the British public have no truck and interest in their utter nonsense. So this headline, again, Daily Mail, not the most reputable sources, okay? I mean, slightly better than The Sun, maybe, but I don't know. Who knows? But again, the Daily Mail is to the middle classes what The Sun is to the working classes. I would say. And so it's, again, a very populist paper. So BBC staff will be giving diversity lessons to stop microaggressions in a bid to make the corporation more welcoming to black program makers. Excuse me. If you are upset by a microaggression, you need training to not be a massive pussy. That's what you need, for God's sake. If it's an aggression, you can't point to it and you go, oh, it made me feel a little bit bad. Man up. And that's if you're a man or a woman. Just grow a freaking backbone. For God's sake, most of these things that you are interpreting as aggression, as hatred towards you, is in your own freaking head. Look, I will stand with you if somebody has expresses aggression to you for your ethnicity, skin color, sexual orientation, religion, world. Yeah, 100%. Actual aggression, even verbal aggression. But, to say, oh, he made me feel bad. Shut up! Shut up! And this is the moron. These are the morons that run the BBC. So let's have a quick read. Piers Wenger, moron number one. Piers Wenger, he's the director of commissioner. He's in charge of scripted drama, I believe. Scripted drama. And he used to be a producer of Doctor Who. So when Doctor Who ratings imploded, I mean, they really, literally imploded. They were the worst. The worst they've been. Other than 2 episodes in 1988, I think, or 89, it were the worst ratings ever for the season finale. A much vaunted, much promoted season finale, because people just didn't like it. People didn't like it. When the waiting opponent, he said, "Oh, Doctor Who's in wonderful health. Editorially, it's in wonderful health." Yeah, we're going to find out what that means in a minute. Piers Wenger has been in discussion about how to remove unconscious bias. Okay. You can't remove unconscious bias because you can't prove unconscious bias. Again, if somebody is racist towards you, I am with you. If you think someone's being racist towards you and you can't put your finger on it, I'm not. Really? It's a strong allegation to make. And you know what, actually, no, I'm going to read the bullet points, and I'm going to tell them what they should be doing. $250,000 a year. He gets $250,000 a year. Drama Commission grant said it was now ground zero. $250,000 a year for that? Are you out your mind? Okay, your first thing you do is you take. I don't know. I'll give you a decent wage. You take 180. You take 150,000 a year, gives you a decent rate, and then you put it into BAME, BAME. I can't remember, Black, Asian, I don't know, whatever the two are. You put it into that program, put it into a startup program. If you're not going to put your money where your mouth is, shut up! Don't lecture me. Don't lecture England, which is not a racist country. Told Edinburgh TV Festival, now is the moment we have to get it right. No, now's the moment you've destroyed the BBC. Now is the moment you have destroyed the BBC with your sheer stupidity. And you know what? Listen, it's not really fair of me ranking on him without giving a right reply. Piers, you want to come on my show? You want to come on the channel? Look, I'll have a polite conversation with you, but you're a moron. And of course, you're not going to come on. Listen, there's no reason for him to come on, but I don't think anybody ever does when they're going to get their ass handed to them, which clearly would happen. Executive staff are being advised to have unconscious bias training, reports there. So this is going on one side of the BBC, right? At the other side, they're about to lose their license fee because people won't have to pay. And also, the outgoing Director General of the BBC, who was an utter failure, he oversaw the greatest implosion of the BBC. Again, lost over 300 million pounds from people not having to pay their license, people switching off them from the BBC. That is failure. That is the definition of failure. Right? He oversaw a time when there was an actual campaign to defund the BBC. That is nothing but failure. And the reason that people want to defund it because people don't want to be lectured. Especially lectured in their entertainment, and quite frankly, you make their entertainment full of lectures, then people stop watching, and then you go, well, TV audiences are down in general. What can we do? Make interesting TV. Make TV that doesn't bloody lecture the world. In fact, okay, this is really what they should do if they wanted representation, genuine representation. They should say 25% of programming should be the goal is to create 25% of programming that is created by BAME creators, right? Because the voices behind the camera, I think, are the most important. Like Noel Clarke used to be in Doctor Who. Good writer, good film. Although he's saying he wanted more black crews. Dude. Make it. Nobody can make it happen, but hire people who can do the job. Don't hire people based on their skin color. Hire people who can do the job. But I still feel that BAME creative voices behind the camera, 25% programming of that, and drawing in comedy. That gives you 75% of programming for people who aren't BAME. Right now, they say we've got to put 25% of, no, it's more like 50% in everything. And you know, like, I don't think if your skin color is black, I don't think if you are a darker skinned person, that precludes you from watching and enjoying a show about a lighter skinned person. What's that so freaking crazy? Why would anybody else say it? But because these are crazy racist people. So let's have a quick read at that Mr. Moron here, Piers Wenger. The BBC's drama boss has vowed to get rid of an inadvertent instances of racism known as microaggressions across the among staff at the corporation. Listen, I understand that you in the entertainment industry are racist, are sexist, are bigoted, are the most disgusting human people who walk the face of the earth. I understand that. But you are not representatives of Britain. You know, I understand you're trying to convince yourselves not to be racist, and you're trying to virtue signal that you're not, because you all are. Again, you're all, all these white faces in control, which lecturing the rest of us, saying you should be multicultural. Give up your job. Give up your job to a black man. Then your $250K a year job. Give it up. You're doing that, are you? No, I didn't think so. Go find another. But is it that important? Is it? No, it's not that important that you have to pay the cost. It's not important that you, Mr. Wenger, has to pay the cost. It's important enough that you can take the entirety of your output and use it to lecture us. But it's not enough that you should have to pay anything for it. The $250K a year drama commission controller said it was now ground zero, and the moment where they had to get it right was the moment where you got it wrong. This is the moment you got it wrong. Yeah, last night at Proms was the last straw. His comments come amid reports that the executive staff of the BBC are being advised to have unconscious bias training to make sure they don't inadvertently offend anyone, according to the Times. Yeah, I don't think you should be offended at what's the word again? Inadvertent offense. I don't think you should be offended at that. I think you should grow a pair. Again, if you're male or female, just look at this sanctimonious little face. I'm so good. It makes me hurt. I'm so good. Look at me. Oh, gosh. I'm going to teach you another Jewish word. Schmuck. This guy is a schmuck. You can look that for yourself. Okay, but there is hope, because one, the BBC is about to be defunded, as I really think is going to happen. I think it's popular also. And secondly, the new Director General starts tomorrow. Tim Divvy. Tim Divvy was the person in charge of BBC Studios, which made a 1.7 billion profit last year. And so. Again, taking Doctor Who, for example, because Doctor Who is something that I know and love. We have people like this idiot over here, who says that Doctor Who's in great shape editorially, even though that people would rather jump into a burning building than watch it. They will do anything other than watch Doctor Who. And because he thinks it's so stunning and brave, right? Fantastic. However, Tim Divvy was in charge of BBC Studios that like to make money, and so for Doctor Who, which was a really solid earner for them. It used to be a solid earner, didn't it? Until they made it crap. BBC Studios spearheaded Time Lord Victorious, a multi-platform story, which doesn't look that good anymore. Multi-platform story that has no hint of the current era of Doctor Who, because they want to sell it, and you can't sell this crap. I'm sorry, people are not interested in it. People are not interested in watching it for free. People are certainly not interested in buying it. So Mr. Wenger said, it is also the role of commissioners to really get it right, because we know we're at the very beginning of the process. No, you're at the end, mate. You're at the end. If talent isn't being protected and nurtured and empowered, if ethnic minority stories aren't making their way to the screen, then we have a big part to play in that. No, you have a complete part to play in that. But again, why are you focusing on stories of black people being victims? I'm sorry. That's not programming for black people. That's programming for white people who want to feel good about themselves, that they feel guilty that black people have been victimized. You want to make programming for black people? Look at Tyler Bloody Perry. Tyler Bloody Perry made programming specifically for black people, bypassed the entire Hollywood system by doing it, became incredibly popular, incredibly successful. Okay, that was a Freudian slip. Became incredibly popular and incredibly successful. And his work is not about the oppression of the black people. It's about making people that share his ethnicity laugh and be happy and be entertained. It's not about lecturing, and that's why he's successful. And you, Piers Wenger, you idiot, you're a failure. He added, over the last months, as a department, we've been in deep discussions about how to eradicate unconscious bias and microaggressions. They don't exist. They don't exist. And even if you do have an unconscious bias, you have a conscious that works against that, right? We all have conscious and unconscious thoughts, most of which we don't act upon, right? Most of which we don't act upon, because then we run it through our brain and go, oh yeah, maybe we shouldn't do that, And I'm sorry if people feel hurt. I need a definition. Show me what a microaggression is. It's either an aggression or it isn't. We just can't justify those things exist. They don't exist, moron. A microaggression is a mark or an action which unintentionally reveals prejudice towards a minority group, such as asking someone, "Are you? So where are you really from?" What? Why would you ask that? Again, like a microaggression. A real aggression is when you ask any of the Jews while there was a massive anti-Semite in charge of Labour with a massively anti-Semitic group backing him. When you ask any of the Jews, why are you making up anti-Semitism? Now, that's not a microaggression. That's an actual aggression. But you were fine with that, you lying pieces of shit. Mr. Wenger said he wanted to be radical, and it was the moment to act. Yeah, arsehole. You think it's the moment to act? Yeah, no, I think it's time. I think it's a moment for the government to act. I think it's a moment for the British public to act. And I want to see if you can still afford your 250k a year salary after that. Let's see how happy you are to be radical then. How your Twitter points will do for you then. Of course, mummy and daddy will look after you. Look at you. Your name's Piers, for God's sake. It doesn't look like you come from a family that's scrabbling for a bob or two, does it? No. It doesn't look like you come from a family that reads either the Sun or the Daily Mail, are you? No, you're not, are you? He added, in recent months, people have been trying to drill down into detail of why, despite people spending years talking about diversity, that so little has really changed. Okay. I can't read anymore. I can't read anymore. It's too stupid. Okay, so no. Everything was fine until you idiots came and took over everything. Look at Doctor Who. Doctor Who, 2005. Completely multicultural, multiracial, had good, strong female characters, and it was engaging and exciting and entertaining. Now, when it's become a focus, there's no realistic female characters. It's not engaging. It's not exciting, and it's been thoroughly rejected by the British public, which I think the BBC is about to. So the question is, if now the BBC, now British public is about to get a chance to show the disdain for the BBC, much as the public of the world got to show the disdain for the music industry. Who's next? The question really we got to leave on is, who is next? Is it Disney? Is it who likes to lecture us? Is it CBS Paramount who love to lecture us? Who's next? Who's next to get a rude awakening from the public that they fail to serve? That's a question that I'm looking forward to finding out the answer to. Because my name is Phil Becken, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'm not reading the rest of this article. I can't do it. Like, share, and subscribe. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And have yourself a fantastic day.